What's going on, guys? This is Matt Marinoff. I am super excited today. I've got the infamous Lenny Hernandez from Flipping NJ, who is with me today. We're not really going to be talking about Flipping NJ. We're going to be talking about an incredible service that he's put together that's going to help people find people within minutes, not days, not weeks, minutes. And I'm going to have him explain it. I'm also going to have his stepson come on, and he's on here as well.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Hey.
This is Christian Rodriguez, and Christian is on his team, but Christian's also, I guess he is your stepson, right?
Absolutely.
He's your stepson. He's a good guy. Congratulate this young fella. He just found out he's having a baby.
That's right.
Thank you.
Excited.
He's the only man alive who's actually going to be giving birth. I'm only kidding. You look great for being pregnant. I see the photo. I love it.
Thank you.
So congratulations on that. So Christian, he's very young. How old are you, Christian?
28.
28. I thought you were like 19. You look so
No.
young.
Started around 21. But,
Okay, you started young in the industry. So 28, left New Jersey, went to my destination of choice, which is Florida.
Yep.
He's living the dream down there, and now he's building his own little family, so that's pretty cool. So I've known Lenny for many years. Lenny and I followed each other. Lenny and I have done business together. And when Lenny told me that he's a big supporter of my company and the whole short sale stuff. When Lenny told me that he has his new service that he's providing to help people find people, obviously in any industry it's good to have it, especially if you have people that are not paying child support. You have people that, for whatever reason, stop paying rent. You want to maybe possibly put a judgment against them. So they have a software that they're utilizing, that they're using, that they actually created. And just so we're clear, that is Lenny Hernandez from Flipping NJ. That is not a toupee. That's actually his real hair. His wife asked him to continuously grow it while he still can.
Yeah.
So she can actually look at him like he's a young man, and that's why you always wear the cap, because your head was
right. That's right. I was shaving my hair for 20 years. I decided to switch it up now.
That's amazing. You should just tell people flat out you found the miracle grow, and see if people actually inquire and want to pay for it. It'd be the biggest Ponzi scheme ever, bigger than Madoff.
I like it.
So, guys, let's talk a little bit. I have a couple of questions I want to talk about. Obviously, Christian, you're down in Florida, but you also purchased Florida and New Jersey and stuff like that. One of the questions that I always get asked is, Matt, how are you finding your transactions? How are you finding your deals? And although today is about skip tracing, I wanted to ask this question because, what have you, Christian, first what have you been doing as far as obtaining inventory?
Yes, so I would say the easiest way and the cheapest way if you have no money is driving for dollars. It's what I started doing here when I first moved to Florida. I would just drive around neighborhoods, one, to get familiar with the area because I knew nothing about where I was, and just started taking down addresses that looked like abandoned, boarded up, tall grass, things like that. And then I would just compile that list, and then before you know it, I have a couple properties in there that are hopefully motivated sellers. So that's definitely one list. I mean, there's a ton of other ones that you can get online, tax delinquent lists, water shutoff list, probate, absentee owners, things like that.
Right.
But I would say as far as the easiest, cheapest, and actually really good quality leads are going to be your driving for dollars. Definitely.
Okay, so let me back up. Your stepfather is the infamous Lenny Hernandez. Did any part of you say, why the hell am I leaving New Jersey? I'm going to Florida. Lenny, I still want to do the business, but I'm going to do it from down there. Lenny, what was going through your head before Christian answers that question when he said, I'm leaving?
So when Christian first said he wanted to go to Florida, I was initially like, Christian's my right hand. So I didn't really want him to go, but I'm not going to stop him from going. But we had already seen that him working remotely from the office when we're doing share sales, right? everything can be done remotely, whether you're here in New Jersey, Florida, anywhere, another country. So, and he pointed that out, and literally that's been the case. Well, Christian is living proof that you can really work anywhere in the world doing this stuff, right? You just need somebody over here, obviously boots on the ground. You need to have, the relationships and stuff like that over here, but he's proves it. Work with him every single day. He's not only working, helping me doing stuff, but he's also getting properties for himself out there. He's doing buying holds out here while living out there, right? So it's pretty awesome.
So, for me, my company's not brick and mortar. Lenny, I know we talked about you got a huge overhead, you got a massive office over there in Somerset. You've got a big presence. I don't have the brick and mortar. I don't have to worry about, paying the rent, the utilities and stuff like that. So when this whole pandemic thing really hit, we didn't really skip a beat. And I'm assuming the same thing with Christian. I know your office was empty for a while. I know you have people float in and out. Christian, what was going through your head? Were you nervous to say, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm leaving New Jersey, I'm going to Florida? And did you have money when you were leaving?
Yeah, I mean, it stinks leaving family. I hate being away from Lenny and my mom and things like that. But I always knew I was going to be able to do it because, like Lenny was telling you, when I mainly worked from the office. 95% of the time, I never even went to any of the properties we ever got. So, I thought to myself, if that's the case, why can't I do this anywhere? I could be in Alaska for all we know, So anyway, yeah, I figured I could just do this anywhere. Sometimes it does become an inconvenience where I wish I could be there and just run to a property real quick if we run into an issue. But, it's also helped me step back and see the business from a different light, where now we're not just looking at New Jersey. We're looking at states that I would have never even thought of before. To me, it's a blessing that I did this because it's taught me so much more than what I've known before. And like Lenny was saying, I'm buying properties in New Jersey that I've never even seen before. They become my rentals and everything's going very well. And I'm able to now expand my business. And if I wanted to, I can do the same thing in any other state. I just got to replicate that plan.
So you're in Florida, your property's in New Jersey. Who looks after your properties in New Jersey?
Yes, so I figured what's the best way to make sure that I'm in a good position. I can connect with the realtors, get an idea of the neighborhood and stuff like that from a realtor. But my best advice would find a good property manager local in that town, and that's exactly what I did. I flew up to Jersey. I went to a town that I've never even heard of before. It's Bridgeton, New Jersey. It's in Cumberland County. It's 2 hours away from where I lived, and met with a property manager. She blew me away. She knew the town and all this stuff. And a lot of people say you don't need a property manager if you only have a couple properties and things like that, which is true. But for me, I just thought for peace of mind, 8% a month is like a no-brainer to me. So basically, I let her run with it. I find the property, we close on it, and then I just have her take it from there. And since then, I haven't really had to do anything. It's been kind of.
What if the property needs renovation? Who handles the renovation?
Yeah, so also I thought to myself, a lot of these property managers, they know contractors. So just networking with them. The properties I'm looking for are more like turnkey, light, cosmetic type of rehabs. I'm not looking for anything crazy at the moment. Right. But definitely in the future, I'm probably going to start picking up properties that need a lot more work. I just didn't think I was ready for that yet, so kind of starting slow.
Gotcha. That's amazing. Well, that's a little bit about you. Everybody knows Lenny, and I'm getting messages here basically saying to me, where can I find the Miracle Grow at Home Depot that Lenny put on his head? So, guys, today we're talking about skip tracing. Great service that you guys have. So can one or both of you maybe explain a little bit about skip tracing and really the art of it?
Sure. So as you know, our main source of income has always been auctions, tax sale foreclosures, things like that. We're basically our systems and everything were just built around just seeing what properties were on there. We didn't really have to know who the homeowner was or anything like that. Knowing our numbers, knowing the areas, going to the auction and just bidding on the property. And if we were the highest bidder, get the property, now move it to our buyers out there. That, as you know, like any other business, is something that everybody can do. The more people go in that business, the higher you're paying for these properties and the less you're making literally on the back end, especially if the idea isn't really to renovate. So we were like, all right, well, we can't, everybody has money right now, so you can't really compete with who can pay more, right? The only thing you can compete with is who can pay more as you know, when we're bidding, who can bid more, and then who can pay more. Since we're selling to investors, it's not really a good model, right? Investors need to make money. You know, if we're buying them high, we can't sell them high. So we knew that we had to make a change. So we started doing different things. We started initially going after pre-foreclosures, people that were going to the sheriff sales. And we needed a way to do it. The way we were doing it was sending them postcards. We were knocking on doors and stuff. And you can't really scale that. It's too many properties. It's not really effective. So we were using a service called TLO out there, and that was very expensive. You use it, right? It was expensive. Plus, every time we had to use it, we had to, it was very inconvenient in using it. So we used that for some time, and we said, well, there's got to be other services out there that we can actually find, skip trace people's information. Once we have these addresses, call them up, send them a text message, do all that stuff. And that started working out, but it wasn't it wasn't flawless, right? We weren't doing mass amount of addresses, mass amount of people. We were just doing, 25, 30. So we were like, okay, well, this is working, but how do we make this work even better, right? And the next step to doing that was like, okay, using different services out there. We were finding some services that were very cheap to skip trace, 5, 6 cents, but the information wasn't very good. And then we were finding some like TLO and stuff like that was very expensive that we couldn't do it. So we had to do something else. So that's why we came up with, let's create our own tool that we can use for ourselves. And then not only can we use it for ourselves, but we can offset the cost by being able to provide it as a tool if it really works for us. So we tried that, and the way it worked out was beautiful. And we said, all right, well, if we can use it and it's working for us, then anybody else can use it, right? And so that's what we do. Now we don't just do pre-foreclosures. We're doing everything. We're doing tax sale situations, liens. We're doing list pendants. We're doing what else? Divorcing.
Shut off, fire.
Anything.
The owners, there's a ton of them.
And now,
hold on, let me ask you a question. So let's say there's a real estate agent and they want to find out about a property, or if there's an investor that wants to find out about a property. Christian talked about before looking for properties with high grass. Can they literally in the car utilize this service, skip trace, and actually call the person right there?
Absolutely. But let me. So right now, Skip Machine, the name of the company, Skip Machine, is optimized for being on a computer. It's not optimized. It's not mobile optimized right now. We're working on that, right? We should, within the next week or so, have it where you can do that, individual skips, because that's really where you really need it. Sometimes you're passing by a property, you see it's vacant, you want to find out who owns it or whatever. Yeah, you'll be able to do it right now. Right now, you can do it from your computer, but on the phone, it doesn't work as well. The way it looks doesn't work that well, but we're working on that.
All right. So basically, if somebody was to, want to utilize the service, where can they go to use the service?
They go to skipmachine.com. So
they go to www.skipmachine.com. It's amazing. Yeah. You're asking questions, and then you're answering it, and it's popping up on the screen instantaneously. I love technology. So now people go to the service and they go to the website. And I'm sure some people are logging off right now and they're just going to go watch it and figure out how to utilize it. How easy is the service really to use?
It's very easy. that was the other thing. If we were going to have something that we were going to be trying to market, it had to work well, and it had to be very easy to use, right? What's beautiful about it is we didn't want to do a monthly payment or anything like that, have any, charge monthly. It really had to be based on what somebody's going to skip trace, what their list that they're going to do, 25 addresses or 2,000 addresses, right? You're only getting charged based on whatever you get back.
And I would say what makes it really easy, because I've used a lot of different skip tracing softwares, and what makes it easy is you don't have to follow a particular format. So a lot of skip tracing companies, they have you use their own template. So whatever list you have to make sure it fits that template. With Skip Machine, you really don't need to do that. You can upload it in whatever format you want. Columns could be in any direction, and all you really have to do is just match the columns with our columns, and it's super easy. You're just dragging and dropping. So that was probably something that when we put this together, I was like, wow, this is going to be really helpful to people, because I remember skip tracing with other companies, and it was just a big pain having to make sure it was exactly the way they wanted, because if I didn't do that, it wouldn't skip properly, and I'd have to do it over or get charged for something that never worked right. So
it's funny. So Christian is not your birth child, Lenny, but by default, he was growing up as a watchpreneur.
Yeah.
And now he is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because of living underneath the same roof of your craziness. You're the type of guy that if it's not out there, or if it is out there and it's broke, you're like, I'm not even going to F with it and try to fix it. I'm just going to build my own.
Yep. And we've done that. We've done that for years. Share of sales, it was the same thing, but we didn't market it, right? We figured out a way to automate things, creating our own software for that, using the stuff that was out there, but having developers, helping out. So it's always been something that we like to do.
You've always liked the tech industry.
Yes. Love it, actually.
And you've always liked houses.
Yes.
So the two of them came together, and you built a beautiful marriage.
Yes, exactly.
And now you get the skip machine. Yep. Are we going to be able to do any type of like a test on it or something like that?
Yeah. Christian, you want to do a
demo?
So I have a video, because I can actually show one that, like, me doing the walkthrough, and then basically me purchasing a list, and then you seeing it afterwards. So if you want, I could just play that video that I have, if that works. So how do I share my screen?
Share screen right on the bottom.
I see it. Okay, you guys see my screen?
What list was this? Was this a
This is a one a while back, maybe like a tax delinquent or something like that.
Okay. Oh. Look at that.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
what the hell is that noise? Do I need to run?
well, I got
Is it the laundry?
Yeah.
This is going to be a video.
Can you guys hear it?
Help to skip trace a list. So this is a tax delinquent list. Skip tracing. The organized. It's ready to go. All we have to do is save it as a CSV file. So I'm using Google Drive or Google Sheets. This could easily just be an Excel sheet. It's the same thing. We want to make sure the first and last name are separate. We have the mailing address, the street, city, state, and zip code. This is a very easy way of doing it. Perfect form. Sometimes you may have a different address, not just the mailing address, but if it was a different lead, it may also have like a property address that is different from the mailing address. When that happens, I include both, but the most important is having the mailing address. So this is perfect. So I'm just going to save this as a CSV file. I'm going to download it. CSV. Download it right here. Now I'm going to go into Skip Machine. This is the skip format. You're going to go to bulk skips. You're going to click upload a list. Start. Agree. Upload new list. I'm going to call this what it is. That's the link. 1296-132. And then I'm going to just pop this in here. I'm going to match up all the items that need to be matched up. First name, yeah, last name. We have street address, same thing as property address, the state, the zip code, and the city. So everything matches. It's good to go. Now I'm going to hit next. I'm going to make sure I have everything correct. It looks good to me. I'm going to approve. Then I'm going to hit buy now. Okay. Then it's just going through. We're just waiting for it to go through. It's once this yellow bar goes away, then we can export the list. Okay, so now the list is skipped and ready to go. It's finished, but basically you could start here in the bulk skips to find that particular list. So you can see all the other lists that have been skipped in the past. So if you want to ever go back to those lists, you can always come back to this portal and find the rest of your list. So let's download this list. So first let's view it. You can see there's a 99.4% match, which is really good. We submitted 837 records. 832 of them came back. That's excellent. So now we're going to export these contacts. And then once we export these contacts, we're going to organize the Excel sheet, basically scrub the Excel sheet so that we load it into our CRM.
All right, guys. So yeah, so that's pretty much it on how to skip trace it. Hopefully that came in clear. And also one thing I want to add is the Excel sheet I had on there was very neat. It had like first name, last name. You don't even need to make it look like that. It could be disorganized. There could be a ton of different columns that make no sense or something that you don't even, and still be able to upload it just like I did. And as you can see, I just dragged and dropped the fields that I wanted to be skip traced. So it doesn't even have to be that perfect, and it's still going to work perfectly fine. Still going to have a high, percentage rate as well. One thing I also want to mention is that skip tracing LLCs. Everyone always asks, "Can I skip trace an LLC?" This and that. This is honestly software I've seen that has been able to skip trace an LLC with such a high accuracy. We'd be getting like 75% accuracy on LLCs, and it's done the same way. You just put it in. First name is 123 Main Street LLC or whatever the LLC ends up being, and we often get a pretty good return on those as well, which is awesome.
So Christian, are you telling me that you literally just put that list in? That's obviously that's a video.
Yeah, that's a video of one that I did previously. I don't have like a list right now.
How long does it really take? Because
like a minute at most. Yeah.
So you put all those names, which were like 900 something names, in a system, and it literally shot back with a 93% accuracy.
Yep. I usually once I'm done, I just refresh the page, and within maybe a minute at most, it will come back, done and things like that. And I'll get an email notification as well to tell me like, hey, your list is ready.
That's amazing. So, well, I just want to say something. So besides the information that you get back, obviously the first thing that we go for is the phone numbers, right? That's the most important to us. But we're getting back 3 different emails, phone numbers, information on the property, we get back everything, right? So now it's not just email, it's not just cold calling the person or send them a text message. it's also emailing them as well.
Who calls these people? Who's calling them?
We have VAs that are cold calling right now.
And they know exactly what to say and how to say it?
Yep. Yep.
Are you guys offering those scripts for a fee for people that if they want to download the scripts off a skip machine?
One of the things, you know what? That's probably something that we can do. You know, one of the things that we're talking about doing is the way we're training these VAs is catered to our business, right? So we were actually thinking about maybe at some point being able to provide that service for people, because I know cold calling isn't people's favorite, right? So the people that are calling, all they're doing is just basically opening up the door. We don't expect them to negotiate the deal or anything like that.
Right.
So
when you say 93% accuracy, is it 93% accuracy of what? What are they getting those people? Because it said a percentage, right?
Yep.
So what does that actually mean? Does that mean 93% and there's phone numbers? Like, what happens if something comes back, and what are we doing in a situation like that if they don't have the information? Is that considered a successful skip or no?
No. You only get charged for successful skips. So when it says like 93% or 90% or whatever, that means out of 100% of the list, 90% was a match.
Got it. Understood. Okay. So, I mean, listen, the service sounds amazing. Sounds like really anybody who would be interested in looking at the properties or contacting people, this obviously would save a ton of gas, a ton of disappointment, and really reaching out to people that, you know, may have already rectified the situation. How many times does somebody say, hey, here's a lead, you Google Earth it, you love it, you send them 5 letters, they respond back, my issue's been resolved. It's kind of like you're simplifying the process for people. Why would people, what would be a reason why somebody would not want to utilize Skip Machine?
Because they don't want to cold call, maybe they don't feel comfortable cold calling, right? Or maybe they're just going to go with sending postcards or whatever. But this is the cheapest form of doing it. It's 15 cents per skip trace, right? 15 cents, as opposed to buying 1 stamp, right? And literally now you have their phone number. Now you have different options. You can text them, you can call them, right? And you got their email, right? So it's kind of like for 15 cents, that's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer, Lenny, but I'm going to tell you my experience over the last 15 years of being in this industry. People love to work harder, not smarter. Right?
Yeah.
They try to reinvent the wheel. So to me, like, this is a no-brainer, especially with, you know, people that I work with, my students or the coaching people that we work with. Like, to me, this is just another layer of the armor or another tool in the tool belt that if somebody's serious about locating somebody, why would they not use Skip Machine? So I think the only reason why somebody would not utilize it is because maybe they don't see the value in it. When I say see the value in it, they literally want to go and do things the old way. Perfect example. You know what that is?
That looks like a cash register.
This
is the right numbers, and money comes out.
Right. This is actually this is a telephone.
Yeah.
And this is a cordless phone, which never really gets picked up, which is okay. And apparently, I've got 34 messages, and nobody checks the link. But the thing is that when you look at that type of technology, and everybody was like, you know, here, growing up, like nobody understands.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, nobody understands the struggle. The struggle was real. You had a cord.
Yeah.
If you were fortunate to run down the Radio Shack and get a 25-foot cord, you didn't give a shit if it was white, black, or brown. Because you wanted to walk outside your room. You wanted to be cool, right? So now, fast forward to technology, right? where people have these amazing smartphones. Now, let's think about that. You go from a cord phone to a cordless phone, then you get a smartphone, and all these smartphones have done is really made people stupid. Because I don't know anybody's phone number. The only phone number I know is my old phone number, my mother's house phone number, and my wife's cell phone number. Everything else is programmed in my phone.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is it's okay to give up the control. And there's a lot of people out there that just want to grab on and they want to do things the hard way. And I get that every single day of my life where people want to do things the hard way. So to me, Skip Machine, it's a no-brainer. And if somebody wants to be able to locate somebody and they're only paying for the people that they get as far as successful skips. Now, what happens if somebody does call the phone numbers, the email addresses, and everything like that? How accurate is the information that Skip Machine is providing?
How accurate? Very. If it's a match, it's very accurate.
What if it's not a match?
Christian, you want to answer that?
Yeah, there's usually like 4 or 5 numbers that we give you. So, I mean, I haven't had an issue where one of those numbers wasn't, the person I was trying to get in contact with. And if it wasn't, it was like a family member or something like that. And the reason why we're getting them is because like the person may have passed away or something like that. So that person's particular phone number was like disconnected, but often there'll be like a son or daughter or something like that of the person we were trying to contact. So I honestly haven't run into it where one of the numbers haven't worked.
I mean, in your experience, like, what would be a good way to verify the phone number? Like for me, am I allowed to call up and say, "Hi, my name is Jack. I'm calling from Publishing Clearinghouse, and you've won $25 million. Is this Mr. Smith?" And they say yes, and then you verify their information. And then you say, "Oh, by the way, this isn't Publishers Clearinghouse. I'm interested in purchasing your house, but thanks so much for verifying." Are they going to hang up on you? Because I mean, that's too far away for somebody to say yes or no, because you don't really know. They're probably getting calls from other people. They're getting bombarded, by the famous yellow letters, and all the other nonsense that they're getting. But for me, like I tell people all the time, if you get somebody and it's a warm lead, or you get somebody on the phone and they want to know their options, that's the biggest thing. And the people I train, I'm giving away some serious, golden nuggets right now. People need to start with, hey, it's just Mr. Smith. Hi, Mr. Smith. This is Christian. I'm calling from flippity flip flop. I want to know, are you looking for options based on the situation with your house? And it might not go like that exactly, but if you say, would you like to know your options? Who in their right mind is going to say no to that?
Correct.
So there's a lot of people running around saying that. What are you guys saying, or what are you telling people as an opening line to start communication?
We never give them the opportunity. So we never ask, is this Matt Marinoff, right? So if we called you, we'd say, "Hello, Matt." And you would either say, no, wrong number, right? If you say, "Is this Matt Marinoff?" you wouldn't really know, what is this? Is it a bill collector, this, that, or the other thing, right? So that's the first thing that we don't want to do, right? Mm-hmm. At least for us, because, we get a lot of people that are disgruntled, right? Oh, and by the way, Matt, something that we should also tell you is when we skip trace these lists, we also know if they're on the do not call list or anything like that. So we're well aware if they are on any kind of list that says do not call, right? We don't mess with those people, right? Because we don't want to get
You want to get fined.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you call up, when you know it's a do not call list, you call up and say from a blocked number that you're a competitor company.
Yeah.
And then they get fined. I'm only kidding. No, so it does provide and says in there this number is provided, but they are on a do not call list.
Correct. It's in a big, what is it, Christian? Is it red?
It tags it on our CRM.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does it show also what would be a cell phone number or what would be a home number or a phone number?
Yep.
So you could actually take that phone number, the phone numbers itself, and you could do various different things. If it's, I mean, nobody listens to the thing like you're not supposed to send out text messages, the phone numbers randomly. But I mean, you could conceivably, because I get them all the time.
Yep.
I'm on some list. You want to lose 70 pounds in the next, 60 days. And I'm like, how do they know I need to lose 70? Maybe I only need to lose 15. Why, I feel like I'm being profiled, Who do I call? So the information, obviously, that you guys have provided, the information that you've talked about, obviously, is very important. I'm putting, so some people are on here. Somebody said, "What's up, Jens?" Doug Paul, thanks for sharing. Someone else put on here, "Wow." So people are definitely watching and they're looking at this stuff. And they're trying to figure out, obviously, a better way to locate people. So, I mean, look, let's recap. You pay for what you get.
Yep.
It marks off and it indicates if it's on a do not call list, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do not call people, whatever. It gives a couple different phone numbers. It gives email addresses. It gives addresses or maybe possible addresses and stuff like that. So, Christian, I'm going to ask you a question because you're 28. Lenny, I know you're, 45?
I lost count after 45.
Got you. So there's a huge, age difference, about 20 some odd years or so. So what would be a reason why somebody would not be successful? First thing that comes to my mind, sheer laziness, or maybe this is a huge one. This I talk about with my clients all the time. People are so afraid, petrified of success because they're so used to failure that they rather deal with failure because then they don't have to deal with success. Like we really like, get into the whole psyche thing. What would be the reason why if somebody had all the information, in your opinion, Christian, you go first, why somebody wouldn't be successful with this?
Yeah, I would say one, not being resourceful, and analysis paralysis was, like, for me, one of the worst things. I wanted to do everything to the T, know everything, and not just jump in it and do it.
Right.
So it's definitely that, and also being resourceful. If you're not being resourceful and if you're not networking, things like that, taking advantage of certain software, put you, 10 steps ahead because you just want to, you just think you can do it. There's another way, that's what's going to hold you back from not being able to really take the lead on your life, basically.
Lenny?
I think for me, and from, just being around for so long, I learned that adaptability is probably one of the best traits you can have as a person, as an entrepreneur, because nothing's ever going to work out the way you want it to. It's not the way, people have the conception that, I'm going to do this and this is going to be this and this is going to be that. And, it's great to have plans and stuff like that. But I think in my case, adaptability to whatever the situation is what can take you from, from your goal and all the different things that are going to happen in between, right? That something doesn't go your way, you adapt to it, and sometimes it works out even better. So to me, I think if I can really say one thing that has actually helped me in particular, it's always been adaptability. So whatever the circumstances.
So somebody on one of the other lives that we have, because we're live on a couple of different platforms. So although it says there's 8 people, there's actually a lot more because there's different platforms. Somebody actually made a note here, a comment, says, sounds dicey to me making a move on a cold call. I guess they're basically saying that they don't believe in cold calling people or they're worried about getting in trouble for cold calling. But if somebody's on a cold call list and it's marked and you got a hold of somebody, I mean, you can simply say, look, we're well aware of who's on the cold, on the do not disturb list and who is and who's not. You're not. I mean, is it even helpful to say, hey, here's the phone number that you could actually call to get on a do not call list? Geez, I apologize for the intrusion. I figured maybe you'd like to know what your options are. You're probably getting bombarded by people that are saying they want to buy your house or list your house.
Yep.
But the reality is they couldn't even afford to buy a Barbie house from Toys R Us.
Yeah. Yeah. True. So it really depends on what list you're calling. Each list that you're calling has a different situation, right? We never start off the conversation telling them that we purchased this particular list or anything, right?
Right.
Whatever the situation is, remember when we're cold calling people, we're looking for. We're not looking for them to say, "Yeah, this is what I want for our house." We're just basically looking for an opportunity. The cold caller's job is really just to pass that opportunity along, that the person is willing to at least entertain maybe selling their property, right? And it's
well, let me correct. So that comment was from Michael Figler. That's your buddy. But he was responding to the dicey move because of the publisher's clearinghouse comment, not on the service.
Gotcha.
So let me clarify that.
Gotcha.
Maybe when you guys go over there, you guys can go on, open up the roof of the building.
Yeah.
And if you guys can get like some extra, don't use the latex paint. Use oil-based.
Okay.
Go to Home Depot and get 4 cans of pink paint and throw it off the roof of the building so it can hit his vehicles.
I'm actually going to see Mike in a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
So guys, listen, I appreciate you coming on and talking about the service itself. I think Skip Machine is an amazing service. I actually poked around a little bit with it. I'm going to put my credit card information in. I mean, like for 15 cents to verify good lead or bad lead. If it doesn't work and you don't get anything, you don't pay for it. If you get it and it hits, I mean, Jesus Christ, you pay 15 cents and you can make $5,000 or $10,000 or
$40
or $50,000. I would say that's a really good return on your investment.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add? Anything you want to state about Skip Machine?
So Matt, one thing that we're going to be doing. So we're not just creating Skip Machine and then that's it. You said something before that I meant to tell you that's exactly how we're looking at this. What we're going to be creating, and not in the near future. I'm talking about like this month, at the end of the month, is we're coming out with another tool. We're creating tools, just like you called it a tool, another what'd you call it? Another tool in your tool belt.
No, yep.
That's all we're creating is tools that we can use, and we know that if we can use it and we're successful, the way we figure out if it's successful is, did it work for us? Okay, yeah, great, all right, it's successful, and then we just keep on replicating that, right? So we're coming out with another tool that is going to be very efficient. That's what we want to create, is tools that we can use and we could also monetize by selling the service.
So you guys don't. So I mean, I'm assuming you look at people the way I do. I don't look at people as competition. I look at people as opportunity, and I think people need to really look more about that than anything else. Because you know what? Maybe they don't have the resources. Knowing that you guys are the creators of it. I mean, hey, Len, you know what? I can't do anything with this lead. Can I help? Hey, Christian, I can't do anything with this lead. I don't know what to do. Can you help?
Yep.
To me, it's a no-brainer. But I think people are so closed-minded and they're so worried about competition that they can't get out of their own way.
Yep.
And there's a ton of people out there that are professional learners where they go to these investment clubs or they go to these webinars and all they do is learn. And a lot of them are really nice people. They just haven't had the push. Nobody's physically pushed them out the front door or the window and say, yo, my man, it's time to fly.
Yep.
Learn. So I know, Lenny, I know you're like that. You have an amazing company and you help people. Christian, Lenny talks very highly about you, obviously. I met you, I'm going to say probably about 3 years ago at an event. And then you told me who your stepfather was. And I think my words to you were, That fucking guy never calls me back.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's known for that. He's known for that.
He's known for not calling people back, which is funny. And I don't say it. I mean, obviously, I said it as a joke because I text messaged him between last night and this morning saying, "Hey, I need blah blah blah," and his response to me this morning was something totally different. So I get it. I'm used to his dynamic.
That's right.
And his whole nonsense. People just have to realize they have to figure out how to plug in. Hey, Lenny, I got an Italian hero over here. Are you available? What's going on? What do you got? Mayonnaise? You got oil and vinegar? I'm eating you. So, with all that said, guys, I appreciate both of you coming on. Chris, I know it's short notice for yourself. I know you're over there doing laundry. That's entrepreneur life. COVID-19 2020, doing stuff like that. At the end of every single one of the lives that I do, I ask people to emulate the finger point. So I want to see if you guys can actually do the finger point.
Here. Where am I? There you go.
I don't know where the hell you are. All right. Okay, get back in the frame. Lenny, pull your hand up. Lenny.
My hand up. How's that?
We're gonna pull your hand. Yeah, right there. I'm gonna take a picture. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. Perfect.
Awesome.
So, guys, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I'm doing these types of shows and interviews because I'm bringing stuff of importance that's out there during the COVID time or any time other than that. You should really be looking into learning and trying to find out other information about other sources that are out there. Obviously, you can reach out, to Christian Rodriguez. You could follow him. You could follow Lenny Hernandez. You know me, Matt Marino, Short Sell Savage, a.k.a. the Hebrew Hammer. And it was a pleasure having both of you on today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Guys, hold on one sec. Don't go anywhere. If anybody knows of anybody of interest and they want to, say, hey, Matt, maybe you should interview these people, by all means, please tell them to reach out to me. Reach out to the company. It's, my company itself. There's the phone number on the bottom of the screen. You can reach out. The service that we talked today was skipmachine.com. It's skipmachine.com. And if you're looking to find people with a high accuracy rate and only pay for what you use and also be indicated and alerted that the person is on a do not call list, then there's no other than the Skip Machine. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
Love it.
Don't go on anywhere.